to Wales, and it's windy. So what my plan was today was to just basically come to Llyn Gwynant and the surrounds and shoot some images from the top looking down, and then drive down and stop periodically and get right down to the side of the Llyn and take some shots of the tree that's there and the boathouse. But as you can see, the weather in Wales is interesting, to say the least. It was forecast to be cloudy, so you know, it's nothing unexpected. But when you book in advance to stay over, these are the things that you know you have to contend with. So there's absolutely zero light down in the valley whatsoever. I can't see that I'm going to get any type of image from here with absolutely no light. I mean, even if there was some down there, I might be able to make something of it, but there's absolutely nothing. So for all the composition that I could get here for anything really, it's not going to be much of a shot because it's bloody dark down in the valley. So I think what I'm going to do is I just wanted to show you up here the possibilities that you could get. There's a really cool bridge with a stream that winds down that would make a fantastic leading line down to Nant Gwynant down there. There's some really cool foreground rocks down here that you could use to make an interesting foreground, again with the Llyn down at the bottom. But I don't think I'm going to take any of those today, simply because the light's so really poor. It wouldn't even be worth me trying. I keep looking around because I'm wondering if actually I might be able to do something with it, but I don't think I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back in the car, head down a bit further, and then see if the light improves, or if when I get to a spot further down I can work with what I've got. But yeah, this was the first place I just wanted to stop and show you really, because there is some excellent photo opportunities up here, but just not in this light. So I've headed a bit further down into a valley now, and there's a parking spot about halfway down between where I was and the actual Llyn itself. And it's a lot less windy, and it's also a lot less cold, but it's still pretty dreary, it's pretty dull, it's pretty, there's not a lot of light. But I think we can make for a half decent image here with a bit of luck. But just to make things a bit more interesting, the rain's now whipping across through the valley, which is cutting visibility on the image. Might make it interesting, who can say, but it is also getting loads and loads of rain spots on my lens, which means if I'm taking a panoramic, I've got to try and stop every time I've taken a shot, clean the lens, move it, take another shot, clean the lens, move it. So it's challenging conditions, let's be honest. We're probably going to take a shot this way to catch these mountains with all the mist and the rain running through, and then I'm going to drive down to the lakeside and try and focus on some more details like trees. I know there's a couple of old boathouses down there, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. But it's interesting, isn't it? It'd be boring if you came out here and it was perfect conditions all the time, wouldn't it? It'd be great, but never mind. These are the things that are sent to test us. There's some really nice light over here, so I'm going to take some images over this way. I love the way that the mist is hanging around the tops of these mountains, and up behind me over here, I'll sort of turn you around, you might be able to see it. I'll put some B-roll in anyway, but up there's a tree that's just sitting in a little sort of nook, a little dip in the line at the top of the mountain, and there's mist covering the peaks over behind it, and I've got the 70 to 200 on, and I think it makes for a really, really moody shot of sort of what my aim will be is to silhouette that tree up against the sort of brighter misty sky and have those peaks just appearing in the background. Hopefully that's going to look really great. So yeah, it's lovely. It's like it's horrible. It's really horrible, but it's really lovely at the same time. There's just some really interesting mood developing. So if you talk about trees in Snowdonia, everyone will say, oh, it's got to be a lone tree at Llyn. But for me, my favourite tree, I think, is this one behind me here. So I'm now down on the banks here at Nant Gwynant, and I love this tree here. There's an easy parking spot. You just park and walk like 20 yards over to where you're going to take the image. It's a little bit annoying because there's a smaller tree in the background that's a bit distracting. But if you put the tree on the right hand side of your frame, you've got the lovely mountains and the Llyn here on the left hand side of the frame, and it's just a really nice image. Unfortunately, it's very flat today. The sky is very flat, so it's going to be black and white, but if you get some dramatic light here, wow, it's a fantastic shot of a lone tree. So I recommend if you're around this way and you want to do a different tree from the obvious, then try this one because it's very cool. So I made it down to the far end of the water now, and the weather's setting. It's not pleasant at the moment, it's very rainy, but I am trying to use that to my advantage, because if you look out behind me, most of the far mountains and the valley is shrouded with this fine mist that the rain's causing. So I'm trying to sort of take a bit of a fine arty approach to my shots here. So I've got this line of rocks that lead up to the old boathouse. There's a couple of old boathouses here, as you can see. This one's very dilapidated. The other one's got a bit of character, but it's a bit newer. So I'm using this line of mossy rocks leading up to this boathouse, and then I'm sweeping round to what you can't really see in the distance, which is the rest of the mountains, which are all shrouded, like I said, by this mist. So it might create a bit of an atmosphere in the shot. I mean, it's likely to be black and white, but I may keep the colour in because of these greens, these muted greens on these rocks. So we'll see. It'll probably look very, very desaturated anyway. That's one of the shots I'm shooting, and I'm also going to come a bit further over, and I'm just going to try and shoot directly down the body of water and just get all this really sort of mysterious, sort of foggy, mountainy ambience going on, to see if I can maybe take some sort of a fine art shot with these rocks again in the foreground. we shall see. I've got the 6 stop on. I've also got a 0.9 soft grad, just because it is quite bright even though it's overcast, compared to this very dark mountain here and these boathouses. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and I'll come back to you. Time to call it a day, I think. Can't keep anything dry, can't keep my filters dry, can't keep myself dry. It's a really good job my camera's weather sealed. The rain's really properly set in now. Hopefully you got some nice images from here. Hopefully you've enjoyed this this journey down the valley, from the top down into Llyn Gwynant, and right round to the back end. And if you have, then please feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments you want to make, then again please feel free to make them, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, then again please feel free. Like I say, I hope you've enjoyed this, and from a very, very wet Wales, I'll see you soon.